Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from Mumbai. Yeah, this is our Wisdom of the Sages podcast. I'm your host, Raghunath, with my co-host, good friend, great friend, best friend, Kaustubha Das. Welcome to the show. And we are just wrapping up a little shy of a month training with about 56 students or so. And now we are off to our next adventure. We are going around sacred places in India. Two of our favorite places, Jaipur, which is, it used to be called the Paris of India, or the Paris of the East. Now it's sort of like a little noisy city, but it's a fan of ours because some of the ancient deities of Vrindavan, the holy place we're going next, were brought there during the Mughal invasion of India. And they were protected because the Mughals were just terrorizing, killing people, and decimating temples, leveling, razing temples to the ground. So Jaipur was always protected by powerful kings. They were an alliance. Mara, we're lowering the curtains. It's getting Peter. But anyway, so we're heading off to Vrindavan. So for those listening live, if you're listening to this for the first time, this is our Srimad Bhagavatam class online. It's a study. We do it for an hour a day. And we also have a Zoom group where you can see each other's faces and give feedback and ask questions. If you're out there listening just on podcasts or on YouTube and you like the show, give us 5 stars and write a little review. And also, if you want to reach out with a question of your own, you can write us at wisdomofthesages108@gmail.com. Kaustubha?
Yeah, I got to inform you that a couple times as you were talking, I basically missed everything you just said because my internet cut out. So if you speak to me and I don't respond, I'm just waiting to reconnect.
Okay. I won't rely on you like I usually do every show. Anyway, me and Kaustubha's interesting background, if you don't know us, is we sort of grew up hanging out in the Lower East Side punk scene, believe it or not, where we reached spiritual enlightenment. Don't you always hate when people say things like that? Like, and then I was driving my motorcycle into the top of this mountain, sat under a tree, and then I became self-realized. It's I never bought that. I never bought it. People are still pulling that rabbit out of a hat. And the idea in Bhakti and in a sadhana Bhakti is that there is no magic guy hitting me in the head, whacking my third eye open that's going to give me God realization. But that doesn't mean it's unattainable. It doesn't mean there's just a Christ-like figure who's pure and everybody else a bunch of plebeians. The fact is that we are conditioned but pure. We are like a bright light covered by a big, thick blanket. And there's a practice called sadhana bhakti, which they speak about in the Vedas. And all you do is you show up on a regular basis. There's some ways, right? There's more effective ways to steer the vehicle. We know that from driving cars. This case, we're talking about the vehicle being the body. There's things to say, things to think about, things not to say, things not to eat, there's things that will assist you on your drive in the material world and help us grow. So this is what we do. We sort of on our journey, which is we became monks at 21, 22, and we became friends, even closer. And then we sort of went our separate ways. We met back years later. We were both yoga teachers. And now this is what we do. We give classes on yoga philosophy at people's teacher trainings. We lead our own teacher trainings. Me and Kaustubha have been doing this for about 15 years together, pretty much, teacher trainings. And we decided to start teaching the Bhagavatam because we feel like there's a dearth of understanding of the foundation and the roots of yoga, especially in the yoga community. And not in an arrogant way, we're doing this, but because we love it and we're passionate about it. And we found it sort of like revolutionize our heart and our thinking and give us a bigger zoomed out picture of how to apply this stuff to our life and the yoga system in general. What do you think about that, Kaustubha?
Well, first, I want to compliment you on your use of the word dearth. That was a good one.
Thank you. Kaustubha always gives me thumbs up when I use 3-syllable words. But that's
that is a one-syllable word. But, I appreciate what you're saying. I also was always skeptical. I'm not going to name them by name, but there's some very...
Name them.
Okay. I mean, I name people. These books mean a lot to some people, but there's some popular books in the yoga world where they have a lot of like mystical stuff happening left and right. And these kind of enlightenments, I love the book Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse.
Love it.
But it also has some of that stuff in it too, But I like the way that you were presenting it. We have a very nice person walking down the street that needs to mute their mic.
Oh, yeah. If you're unmuted, sirs.
Christina.
Christina, mute your mic, dear.
Oh,
we're going to hear all your secret things, whatever you're saying.
She did it. But as you were saying, the idea is that there's powerful forces of spiritual energy that are out there. The names, these mantras, the wisdom found in these books, they're powerful. Our challenge as spiritual practitioners is to become receptive to the flow of that. And our problem is that our mind is so distracted that we have trouble absorbing our minds in it. And so it's just like if you want to get a suntan, you got to get out in the sun. And you got to stay out there and absorb that sun. It's not that there's a problem with the sun. The problem is that you're not out in the sun.
People want a magic pill.
Yeah.
People want a quick, I want energy. I'll just drink energy in an energy drink. I want to lift weights. I'll, what do they do for weights? They want health. The idea is they want everything immediately. So I want enlightenment. I want it right now.
Yeah.
This guy did it right now. How do I do it? But what we found and what great sages have found, that there is a practice. Just like you practice anything, you practice piano. I want to be a great piano right now. Wouldn't that be great? To put a piano chip in my brain and now I can play the piano. I want to learn Spanish right now. Spanish chip in my brain. It would be great. It just doesn't work that way. Spirituality is the same thing. Now, it's true that we're all different and we're all coming from different places, both in this lifetime and our childhood, in our previous life. But at the same time, there's no magic trick. Some people might just be born a little bit more evolved, a little bit more connected. We don't know where we are coming from. The tendency is to think I'm always much more involved than I am. But the fact is that as people, what I've seen in my little 30 years of practicing Bhakti Yoga, which is just a tiny little thin page, if anything, in the encyclopedia of how long my soul's been around, I found that as people evolve, they're more humble. They think they're less
evolved.
They feel less evolved. Now, of course, they're actually evolved beings, but what they do is they notice their shortcomings. People in illusion tend to think, I have no shortcomings.
Yeah.
If
you have a perfectly white sheet, a little spot shows up really big on it.
Sure.
So as someone's getting more evolved, whatever is within their mind or their consciousness that needs to be rectified or purified, it's standing out to them.
Yeah. So generally the people that I've met that are most evolved, they're the most humble. And they don't see themselves as evolved. They see themselves as, well, I'm just here to serve you. Can I get you anything? The incredible amounts of, even people doing great things like our teacher Raghunath Swami, doing massive things around the world, humanitarian work, but really truly spiritual work. He's the most humble person you'll ever meet.
Yeah.
There's nothing. Millions of dollars probably roll through the accounts that he directs. He takes stuff, but he stayed with me at my house, and we just built an extension onto Super Soul Farm where we have a really nice guest room. So I'm going to give him the really nice guest room. He sets up on the floor. He doesn't want to sleep on beds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He doesn't care where he's staying. He prefers just sleeping outside, probably. He's truly a perfect living example of a bhakti master. That's how I feel, Kaustubha.
I'm with you.
So anyway, it's good to have people like that in our life. You know why? Because they set a compass for us. It helps us on our own direction when you see, oh, it's like in a 12-step program, they have a, what's it called? A sponsor.
Yeah.
This guy has walked the path ahead of me. He knows the dangerous pitfalls. He knows where to turn right and turn left. He knows what to keep away from, right? So it's nice to have a person who can set that example for us in our life. Community of people just walk that path a little farther than we have. And sometimes we've been on the path for a while, but some guy comes out of the blue and we see, man, this guy, I got a lot to learn from this guy too.
Sure. But we got to make a lifetime plan.
Sure.
And steadily execute it, right? How am I going to become even-minded? I pass through life's challenges. I'm not shaken by them. How am I going to become tolerant? How am I going to become kind? How am I going to simplify my life more and more so that my mind isn't disturbed by external things and I can begin to absorb it in that important stuff? And then when I'm 50, 60, 70,
right,
I'm on this other level of consciousness. We got to aim at it. We got to be serious. We got to say, just like you said, 30 years, it's not a big deal, right?
Right.
I'm going to take the next 30 years. I'm going to use it wisely. I'm going to keep moving forward step by step by step. I was just thinking, we were driving from the eco villages. It's about depending on traffic, but I think we just spent about 3 hours coming in there to get into Mumbai. And I was thinking, I've been in India how many times now? 30 something times, you know? It's, cool. You know, coming into Mumbai again, you know, so many times I've come into Mumbai.
Coming into Mumbai, I was saying the same thing. I was like, Mumbai. And picture what Mumbai, Mumbai is massive. First up, there's these old, like we just talked about that, like these old, beautiful buildings. And then there's like the new rich. Like even in the old days when we were young coming to India, the very wealthy, the millionaires of Bombay, they still didn't live like American millionaires.
They're pious people.
They're just like pious, religious people with very simple homes. We know because there's some very wealthy people in the congregation. Their homes are simple by American standards. The Americans know how to enjoy their money, but now you can tell just to like television or Hollywood or something, like these Bombay, these new things, high rises are going up are like next level. What's that? What? I was just chastised by Mary. Said I cut you off.
Oh, I just
today? I didn't notice
now.
Coming in from Mumbai.
No, I thought it said coming in from Mumbai. I have to check myself.
I didn't even notice. Love Mara, but
notice either.
I'm cool. Thanks.
Oh, I'm not cool. I'm not cool, Mara. I'm a little pissed off. And I just want to know this Mara executive producer who's overstepping her boundaries again. Okay.
But you know, as a New Yorker, I love Mumbai. You know, there's something in the New York energy. It's at the same time, it's it's got a lot of flavor. The city.
Well, here's an interesting thing.
Cool people.
Here's an interesting thing, Kaustubha.
Yeah.
She's laughing because I cut you off again. Someone said, I was going to Mumbai, and someone said to me, "You're going to Mumbai, that nasty city? Don't you understand that's got a massive prostitution dilemma going on in that city? Don't you understand?" And to me, I was like, no, I thought it was like the most spiritual city I've ever been to. See, the thing is, you get what you look for in this world, isn't it? Why do I go to Bombay? Because Raghunath Swami, our teacher's there. He's got a beautiful ashram there. You know, and I take the students there. We go out on a boat. We go to elephant.
We've got hundreds of beautiful friends here, right?
Yeah, we got like incredible people are part of this Bombay spiritual bhakti community. And so when I think of Bombay, I'm not thinking of prostitutes, a heroin problem, you get if you're looking for that, you'll find it. Yeah. I'm sure I could find heroin right out my door, but I'm not looking for it. And therefore I'm not going to find it. You get what you look for in this world. That's what I find. And when I come to India, I got a spiritual radar on. You know what I'm not looking for anything else. I'm looking for spiritual things. And I find it. And you know what? The same set of lenses will follow you everywhere. If you're looking to be offended by people, you'll find people that will offend you. If you're looking for health food and raw food and juices, you'll find that. If you're looking for Ayurveda, you gotta put on the right lenses. You gotta put the right little binoculars on. When you look for spirit, you find it, and you find it everywhere. You find it in the country, the city. You find it in Mumbai, right?
Yeah.
Right. I was a skateboarder when I was a kid. I was always looking around. I was like, I could skate on that. I could skateboard on that. I can grind on that. That's how skateboarders think.
Right.
I was wearing a skateboarder lens.
Now you got that spiritual radar going.
Well, yeah. I'm trying. I'm working on it. I'm a work in progress. I'm a dented can, trying to undent myself.
You're doing a good job, brother.
But the cool thing about Bombay is like a jungle port with this old Shiva temple on it. It's super cool. This place is cool.
Jungle Port?
That was like a big port city for the Portuguese and the
Oh, I
British.
see what you're saying. Okay.
It's a port. And it was a jungle. I mean, it's a big jungle. There was Bengal tigers here 100 years ago, maybe a little bit more, 150 years ago. Bengal tigers.
You're talking about the Bubblenath Shiva temple?
Yes, but I was also talking about Bengal tigers.
All right.
Yeah, the Bubble-Nut temple is ancient.
Yeah. I'm about I'm a stone's throw away from it right now. Look out my window, I can see it.
Okay, let's start the Bhagavatam. Let me read these verses.
All right.
Excuse me. I hiccup like twice a show, every show, twice.
How many times have you done it so far today?
I just did it twice, but that's it for the show
There you're
now.
done.
Okay, here's our verse, glorifying the Bhagavatam. Then we're going to dive right in, people. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudiraye. Before we start in the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the personality of Godhead Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayeshva badresu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati uttama bhaktir bhavati naishtaki. By regular attendance in classes in the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed. And loving service to the personality of Godhead, who's praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Om Gyana Tamarandasya Gyananjana Shalakya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. This is about us here. This verse is about us. It's showing up regularly. That's what sadhana bhakti is, or a sadhaka, one who practices sadhana. We're showing up on a regular basis. We're not looking for the guy to hit me in the head in the third eye and make me God conscious. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. They do things like that in India. The Shakti pot, it's called. He touched me in my third eye and it opened and I saw God. You know
Hit
what?
me with some peacock feathers.
You're going to get you might get some Shakti. There's people that do it. I don't believe it's not. You want the truth? I had it done to me. I got Shakti pot. I kid you not. I got Shakti pot.
How did it feel?
It felt like Shakti pot. It's like lightning. I kid you not. It happened. South India.
What happened? Who did it? Well, tell me. I've never heard this story.
It's an embarrassing story, but I was looking for secret pranayams at the time.
Oh, okay. Secret pranayams.
The 300 hours know this story. I was looking for secret pranayams. I met a pranayam master. These guys can read minds. And he just freaking hit me in the forehead, gave me a mantra, taught me how to breathe.
And what did you feel?
I felt like light. I felt like light hit my head, Shakti go into my body. But you know what? It wasn't bhakti. And after I very quickly gave up the practice because I fell in love with Krishna. What can I do? My Lord is a small coward boy. What can I do about that?
Nothing you can do about that.
Nothing you can do about that. But anyway, it's all real. It's all real, man.
All right.
So, but you might get Shakti pot. They might give you some Shakti right in that third eye, but they're not going to give you. They're not going to get. But Krishna's not cheap. Yeah. It's like people take ayahuasca and they think I had like an incredible spiritual experience. I saw beings coming to me. You might deal with other realms by taking ayahuasca, but you're not getting God. You could get a higher being. I don't like to screw around with hallucinogens because you could get some malefic being. You don't think there's malefic beings out there? Forget it.
Uh-oh, here we go.
There are. It's called a Bhuta, man. Vedic psychology is called Bhuta Vidya, the study of ghosts.
Okay.
Yeah, well, it's not okay. Don't.
Where are you going?
It's all real, man. I didn't make this up.
We almost got to the Bhagavatam.
What's that?
We almost.
Right, listen. Come on, Bhuta Vidya. It's interesting stuff. At least we should know about it.
Okay.
These things exist. There's subtle bodies that can enter your body and screw with your mind. Right? That's why good astrologers understand this as well. Right? You might have some sickness. Could be a Bhuta. You might have some sickness. Could be a planet. To understand full health, you got to know all these things.
True. I'm with
All
you.
we're doing is cutting and snipping in the West. This guy's sick. We don't know why he's sick. Can't figure out why he's sick. Guess what?
Take his appendix
Buddha!
out.
Could be a ghost, right? You don't know. Could be a subtle being, right? Or you trying to get better, can't get better. Trying to get better, can't get better. Trying to get guess what? Could be a planet. Now you might think this guy's nuts. It's all true, man. It's all true.
Okay.
Okay, but anyway, we're not talking about body. We're not talking about subtle body. We're talking about our spiritual self. And that's what the Bhagavatam deals with. All this stuff is Vedic stuff, and it's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But our focus isn't on this. Our focus is on the Bhagavatam, which
If you can connect to that, it'll solve all the Bhutas, the planets, everything.
it's all true. Hey, by the way, if you're listening on Zoom and you think if I go too much into Vedic Bhutas and ghosts and stuff, you can write up on the chat board, Raghu. You got to pull it back.
No, I just
Or if you think stuff is interesting. Let me know.
I just like teasing you, Raghu.
No, because you know what? No, I know. You know what happens though? There's some people who are like, I believe in God, but I do not believe in astrology. I do not believe in Jyotish. I do not believe in ghosts. I do not believe in any of these things. I do not believe in life on other planets. And they're like, I wish you would just, and that might wreck someone's faith.
All right, but at the same time, that doesn't mean we can't talk about these things.
Yeah, they're talkable. Someone just put up a ghost emoji. That was funny. Okay. It's all true. Okay, let's do this. Chapter 4, text 6 on Canto 1. We're going to dive right in, people.
Now, this is a person that everyone thought maybe he had a Bhuta going in him, right?
Sukadeva Goswami.
Yeah, to see him, you might think that.
I mean, if you saw the speaker of the Bhagavatam, is walking around naked.
Yeah.
As if mad. Like if I said to see some guy walking around naked in Bombay or in New York City, say, you think there's a madman walking around. So he in one sense appeared like an avadut from another world, but he's actually completely connected.
What's an avadut, Raghu?
An avadut is so it's almost like they're so spiritual. They're just like not of this world.
Normal social things don't.
All sorts of, no social norms.
Boundaries.
Boundaries, taking off their clothes, eating out of a skull. They're not of this world.
And so he was like that. You hear a great description at the end of this canto that said he was really beautiful, like he was really handsome and everything. And it describes like the hair was kind of scattered in his face, and he's just kind of, he's being followed by like women and children and everyone.
And demigods. The demigods came to hear from him.
Yeah.
Here's another interesting thing. When you hear about Sukadeva Goswami, who's this liberated soul but appears like a madman, it makes you also think, be careful how you treat people.
Yeah, we're talking
you never
about
know who you're dealing with.
Yeah, you never know. You don't know. We're talking about that a few shows ago, remember?
Yeah.
And
you don't know who's sitting right in front of you.
Yeah. All right, let's hear about him.
While Sri Vyasadeva was following his son, beautiful young damsels who were bathing naked covered their bodies.
You read that already. Text 6.
I was misled by Mara.
No, she said 6.
Oh, okay. Forget it. How was he, Srila Sukadeva Goswami, the son of Vyas, recognized by citizens when he entered the city of Hastinapur? Hastinapur is now Delhi. After wandering the provinces of Kuru and the Jungala, appearing like a madman, dumb and retarded. The translation actually says retarded. I'm not saying that. I don't think retarded is a politically correct word anymore. But maybe at the time of the printing of this book, you could say that.
They don't even use it like...
Well, yeah.
Anyway.
Okay, dumb and appear dumb.
Dumb is probably not very good either.
Special needs. I don't know how you'd say it now, but...
Yeah. I guess dumb here, they probably mean like mute, right?
Dumb, they probably mean mute. Yeah. But he appeared like a madman, so we get the idea.
Okay. Oh, by the way, I think there's a good commentary on this verse.
The present-day city of Delhi was formerly known as Hastinapur. I wonder if Prime Minister Modi is going to change it back. That would be good.
That'd be pretty cool.
Present-day city of Delhi, formerly known as Hastinapur, because it was first established by King Hasti.
Hasti means elephant, I believe, yeah?
Yeah, wait a second. I thought it was the city of elephants.
I mean, he probably had a lot of them.
Let's hear and maybe clears it up. Sukadeva Goswami, after leaving his paternal home, was roaming like a madman. And so was I. Leave my picture.
Different type.
And therefore, it was very difficult for the citizens to recognize him in his exalted position. A sage is not, therefore, recognized by sight, but by hearing.
Okay, now that's an important.
That's a great statement.
Yeah.
Why don't you riff on that, Kaustubha?
Well, and I think the purport will probably go a little bit more into, but just like how you opened up today, like spirituality is not cheap. And some people, they want a guru. They want right? They want to be like connected to the spiritual being, and they want to be.
A lot of people often want to be the guru.
They want to be the guru, or they may want a guru. Prabhupada would sometimes call it a pet guru, right? Like, so I can tell everyone that this is my guru and I'm so spiritual and blah, blah, blah. And who do they look for? They look for the guy with the beard and the turban, and he's talking in a very nice way, and he's saying things that, but there's no substance there. And so it's not how they look.
This is all over YouTube, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
You can really, just by listening to a person. Truthfully, what we're doing right now is we're studying sacred literature.
Yeah.
When I the first thing I ever appreciated about these books translated by Prabhupada was not necessarily Prabhupada, but Prabhupada's statement that, listen, this isn't my stuff.
Yeah.
I'm teaching you what the sages have taught. Yeah. I'm not interested in you following me as a personality cult. That doesn't mean there won't be charm. I find Kaustubha very charming, but he's not preaching the Kaustubha cult.
Right.
He's teaching Vedic wisdom. That's why I like Kaustubha. And so the real guru of traditional Vedas is not, check me out, I'm the guru, and smiling and nodding his head. It's actually teaching the sacred literature. And what happens is cheap students do not study and develop the discernment. So they fall in love with the guru who says a few things that they want to hear, which is always a problem because a real guru won't tell you everything you want to hear. They'll tell you, hey, you got to let go of this. You're attached to that.
Yeah.
This is good, but that must go.
Right.
Real guru means sometimes chopping away at the ego.
Yeah. It's Gauravani Prabhu, when he was on in our last show, I believe it was, or maybe it was 2 shows back when he was on, he was talking about, he used the term, carrying the tattva, right? Carrying guru tattva. That a person it means I'm the representative. I'm not the guy. The guru doesn't think, hey, I'm like God walking on earth and people should all worship me. He's thinking it's my responsibility to take this spiritual information, the spiritual message, and transfer it unchanged. Present it in a way that it can be understood, but without changing the essence of the message. And that's what the guru is meant to do. They're just be a channel, just be like they say, a postal peon, right? I'm just delivering it.
Just delivering. That's a great one. A postal peon. I'm just delivering the message. On a side note, Alex writes that it's all true. My mom's an astrologer, and yesterday I did something that I wasn't supposed to do, that I regretted. And this morning my mom called me and asked what I did, and she figured it out only from reading astrology. His mom is an actual mystic. I know her. I knew her before he was born. Anyway. But
so any case, yeah, it's not by the beard, it's not by the robe, it's not by the turban, it's not by the way that they talk and they smile and they gaze, but it's by what they say. You have to hear.
What are they teaching?
What are they really?
What are they teaching?
Are they presenting? Are they even referring to these sacred texts, which is the basis of the whole yoga tradition? Do they make the effort to help you understand that it's not their thing, that they're just representing something?
Prabhu, just by studying the Bhagavatam, the people on Zoom or the people that listen to the podcast, you will have the ability. It's almost like learning how to study what is real gold, or what is a real diamond, what is fool's gold, or what is a cubic zirconium. Is that what it's called?
Fugazi.
Yeah, it's like you need an eye. I don't know. I'll buy the wrong diamond. I'll buy the fake diamond. I don't know. I don't got the eye. I don't have the lens. I'll take the fool's gold. But someone who's trained it can understand. By studying the Bhagavatam, you'll be able to hear anybody speak, and you'll go, that guy is off, or that guy's full of it, or that guy's trying to create a cult of himself. And that's what I think the yoga community needs more than anything, because it's confused. First of all, it's no blame. It's confusing. And we're fortunate that we stumbled onto some good people who weren't selling themselves, but more or less selling the foundation of the Vedic teachings.
Yeah.
And that's what the Bhagavatam is to develop that discernment.
Let's keep reading this commentary. There's some other relevant stuff here, I believe.
Okay, Prabhu. A sage is not therefore recognized by sight, but by hearing. One should approach a sadhu or a great sage, not to see, but to hear him. If one is not prepared to hear the words of a sadhu, there is no profit. Kaustubha,
Yes.
name the verse of descriptions of a sadhu.
Oh,
I mean, it's not a hot seat. Me and Kaustubha don't hot seat each other anymore.
no,
We just hot seat you, Mara.
I think hot seat. I like the hot seat. I mean, I think it's a valuable part of the show, actually.
All right, there's the hot seat. What is a sadhu? See, but here's another thing. I went to India. I went to Rishikesh. This guy was smoking this big bong, hookah, or whatever they're calling. He's a sadhu, and then he gave me a name. What makes a person a sadhu? That they're homeless? Los Angeles
Naked,
filled with
dreadlocks.
Yeah, is it dreadlocks? Does that make you a sadhu? Do you have no money? Does that make you a sadhu? The Bhagavatam will give you the discernment to tell what's a sadhu. Now I'm going to ask Kaustubha, Prabhu, according to the Bhagavatam, what is a sadhu?
Titikshava Karunika.
Boom, he got it.
Okay, so Titikshava means that they are tolerant.
Incredibly tolerant of people.
What does it mean to be tolerant? It means that I've got the faith so deeply established in me that what is Mara doing over there?
My executive producer, she's wrecking the place.
You're checking a nice hotel and she's tearing the place up, right?
Yes.
So, Titikshava, tolerant. Being tolerant means wisdom. Being tolerant means I've got this deep realization and faith and understanding that I'll be happy no matter what the external situation is like. I'm not dependent on the external. So rather than invest my time and energy trying to change external things, I can just let it go. It's not gonna shake me. So Titikshava, tolerant, Karunika, merciful. Right?
Merciful.
I'm not concerned about my own sufferings because I'm connected internally. I'm concerned about other people's suffering. I'm trying to help them, right? Titikshava Karunika Surida Sarvadehinam.
Surida Sarvadehinam. We got to get this on the board. Where's our scribe?
Scribe? I forget the number of the verses. Somewhere there in the third canto. Vidura speaking to Maitreya, I believe.
I'll look it up. Keep talking.
Suridam Sarvadehinam, the friend of every living being. Right?
Yeah.
There's no one that I don't see as a friend, even regardless of their external behavior. I know deep in there, there's a pure spirit soul that is struggling like all of us with the modes of material nature. Even though the behavior may be unpleasant to me, it doesn't make me, I don't cease to see them as a friend. Suridam Sarvadehinam. What is it? Ajatra Satra Sochabhyam?
Ajata Shatrava Shanta.
Yes, Shanta, that's right.
Ajata Shatrava.
They don't have any enemies. And what was that? Say it again.
Ajatra Shanta. They're peaceful.
And they're peaceful. They got a peaceful mind.
They're peaceful.
And then what is the last line? Is Sarubhush. No, what is it?
This is what adorns. It's just basically saying this is what adorns the sadhus.
Bhushana.
Sarva Bhushana. This is what adorns the sadhus.
Bhushana means like a jewel or an ornament. So these are the ornaments that the sadhu wears. This is how they're decorated. This is what they're decorated with: tolerance, mercy, friendliness to every living being, peaceful mind. That's a sadhu. Not just someone getting high.
Your internet is weak over there at the ashram.
What's that? I'm cutting out.
Your internet's a little weak. It's a little occasionally.
Anyway,
that's text 32521. If you want to look that one up, Lindsay Scott. Tikshava Karunika. Great verse though, and it's a great point though. The sadhu speaks. Now we know if he's a sadhu or not by what's coming out of his mouth. In the same way they say a fool is known by when they open their mouths.
A fool is not revealed until they open their mouth or something.
Well, that's what it is. I think that's like Benjamin Franklin or something.
I don't know.
Okay.
Keep going.
So
it's a short purple.
Yeah, well, I'll keep going. If one is not prepared to hear the words of a sadhu, there's no profit. Sukadeva Goswami was a sadhu who could speak on the transcendental activities of the Lord. He did not satisfy the whims of ordinary persons. He was recognized when he spoke on the subject of the Bhagavatam, and he never attempted jugglery like a magician.
You get
Like
that
some-
in India, right?
Yeah, mysticism.
I could do some magic
Outwardly,
tricks.
they appeared to be, outwardly, here's these politically incorrect words again, outwardly appeared to be dumb, madman, but in fact, he was the most elevated transcendental personality. No, this is another thing. We're not looking for the sadhu to just tell us what we want to hear. If we honestly approach spiritual people, we say, please, I mean, I had this conversation. I was going for a walk with Raghunath Swami. I said, Maharaj, please, I want you to correct me. I want you to chastise me. I want you to tell me where I'm going off. And because I want to pull it back, but I've been programmed wrong. You know, we want to be corrected. We're begging for that instruction. We're not trying to just tell me endorse my nonsense that I'm already doing. That getting chastisement is the biggest blessing. There's certain gurus who will just, that's their thing. They're like shotguns. They'll chop at the ego. People like Raghunath Swami, you got to beg for him. What do you think about that, Kaustubha?
Well, you know that I've known both, right?
Yes.
That my guru, Srila Tamal Krishna Goswami, who passed away 17 years ago or so, he was, you know, he would be the one that would chastise, right?
Yeah.
I think it's like that movie, I keep forgetting the name of it, where that Uma Thurman goes to study in Japan and she's got this guru and the guy's just like, you're ruthless.
Kill Bill. Kill Bill, Mike Stone says.
Kill Bill, thank you. And you know, but that he could just really put you through it, you know, like in the training, you know, to do everything right. But it was intense, but you really learned a lot that way. I once had to speak on two teachers that I've learned so much from, who I've benefited so much by their presence, my guru Tamal Krishna Goswami and Raghunath Swami. And I said one of them kind of taught through extreme tolerance. That's right. That's Raghunath Swami. And the other one taught through extreme intolerance. He would not tolerate any kind of, you know, lack of focus, lack of sattvic energy in you. He would quickly point it out in a way that would hurt, and you would have to.
The thing is interesting thing about Tamal Krishna Maharaj, he was actually very renounced.
Yes.
But I remember once he asked for a glass of water, and I brought him a glass of water. He looked at the water. He goes, "Really? You're bringing me this?" And I was like, "Look at this wet cup you brought me. You're serving guru." Your gurus, your preparation to serve Krishna, and you're bringing this water like this. Did you check the temperature of their water? Look at the side. The glass is water dripping all over the place. You're handing this. It was like, oh God. And then, of course, there's the other day where, you know, the time when he told me to get the horseradish, and I think
Someday we'll do your Tamal Krishna Goswami stories. They're just too good not to share with everyone.
Yes. Okay. Anyway, it's great hearing this. How did it happen? The question is being asked. How did it happen that King Parikshit met this great sage, making it possible for this great transcendental essence of the Vedas, the Bhagavatam, to be sung to him? It's all sung. It's all poetry. How did this happen? How did this meeting take place? He, Sukadeva Goswami, was accustomed to stay at the door of a householder only long enough for a cow to be milked. And he did this just to sanctify the residence. You want to explain what that means? Most people have no idea what that means.
Yeah, well, the idea was that there were people, I mean, there's still some people that live this way, but it's rare to find, right? But even in any Indian village in the past, if you go back 100 years or more, that there were holy people who again, they were so detached, they weren't dependent on anything external for their happiness, that they just wandered. And they would wander to your home, and people were happy to feed them. Oh, let me milk a cow. Let me get you something to eat. These people, they have no money, no anything. And they'll share a little spiritual instruction with you. And what it says that they would only stay there long enough, it means they're not getting any kind of luxury or any special treatment. They come there, you know, could you spare a little milk? Yes, here. And then they would share a little spiritual instruction. They move on. It's just culture.
You know, it's interesting. And they're not poor. Like it's a voluntary, it's not like they're poor and they're not begging.
Yeah.
What they're doing is they're going, they get a little food. You guys are leaving? Oh man, love you guys. No one's still are leaving. I'll see you soon.
Ah.
Yeah, they're coming back.
Yeah, you'll see him soon.
Okay. They're not desperate. They'd fast, but they go, they beg for a little food, and then they take some food and they go. And they take, they're not, it's not because they're pathetic and they're needy. It's the last thing. They're actually completely sattvic. They're just choosing, okay, I'll get food on a regular basis. There's householders who want some information from me. So I'll give them some spiritual tips, advice, direction. I'll take a little food for that pay and I'll go on. And it's different than sort of like, what we created, what economy has created with the haves and the have-nots, people who just have nothing and they have a sign, please feed me. It's not that type of thing. It's a desire to be poverty stricken. It's hard to even understand that anymore.
So, because imagine you're wandering alone, you keep moving. So you don't have regular associates anymore. So who's the only regular associate left in your life? The only person that you're going to have a lasting dialogue with is God in the heart.
Right.
That's who you're talking to now.
There's this beautiful kid that was, I don't know if you noticed, there's like a young guy, he's like 20 years old or something, and a dark-skinned Indian who is playing around with my kid a lot, my little 5 or 6 year old.
When was this? Where?
At the Governor Echo Village. This whole month, he was playing with Tarun when he was there.
Oh, I think I know what you mean, yeah.
And he has full service. All day long, he has full service. And at 6 o'clock, he would just come over to play with Tarun, which was like a huge relief for me because my kid if you know my kid, he's a handful. He's a loving, sweet handful, but he's a handful. And so his name was Jivan.
Yeah, okay.
So, I wanted to give him like a donation at the end when I was leaving. So I said, Jivan, here's 500 rupees. He said, for what? I was like, you took care of Tarun like every evening while I was giving class and preparing. And he was like, almost like offended that I was giving him money. Prabhu, seva Prabhu, seva Prabhu. Let's just seva Prabhu. No, please. It's like these type of sadhus still exist.
Yeah.
They're not out for personal gain. They just want to do service. And if you give them money, they're sort of like, you've just taken that opportunity. You
didn't understand my intention.
My intention was, I'm not doing it to get a tip. Like sometimes you're at a hotel and the guy brings the bags up to your room, which you could easily roll yourself. The guy's just standing there like, okay, now tip me. He wasn't doing it with that motive. He genuinely wanted to offer some, he knows my kid, I'm busy and my kid's running around. So he just wants to play ball with my kid just because he sees it as a sweet way to serve.
One time I was in Mayapur, this beautiful, holy town in Bengal. And I was over at a friend invited me over for lunch. And as they were getting prepared to set the table and serve me and a few others, there was a knock on their door, like the back door.
Yeah.
And it was just a sadhu. It was just an elderly man. He just looked beautiful and he just had a big smile on his face. And he just stood there with compassionate eyes, just saying like, can you give me anything? Like he just held his hands out. And it was such a beautiful exchange. The people that were hosting me, they were just so happy to give him something, right?
Right.
They felt so good giving him. Here's a man that's living so simply. Can
you imagine that anywhere in America, some knock on your door, give me some food.
Get the hell out of here.
Get out of here. You just get your dog.
No culture. There's no culture, right?
No culture. We lost a piece of our heart almost.
That was an exchange where both sides felt totally grateful to the other, right?
Right.
They felt grateful for the opportunity to give this saintly man a little something to eat. They felt blessed just to look at him, just to see him. They felt good that this man would wander by and knock on their door. And that man is just like, can you just spare anything, whatever?
We don't like drop-ins in America.
We all know that video that we like so much. What's the guy's name?
Sebastian Maniscalco.
Yeah, about
you come to somebody's house, you're like texting them from the driveway. I'm in your driveway. May I proceed? In the old days, a guest was welcome. Nowadays, it's like, you just dropping in on me?
Yeah. You can Google that one. Sebastian, what's his name?
Maniscalco
Company or something.
guests or something. It's pretty good. Okay. He, Sukadeva Goswami, was accustomed to stay at the door. Okay, just read that. Alrighty. It is said that Maharaj Parikshit is a great first-class devotee of the Lord, and his birth and activities are all wonderful. Please tell us about them. As part of like the practice of bhakti, is we study the lives of great souls.
Yep.
Right? And we see like, wow, how do they live? What do they do?
Hear it.
What do they do for fun?
Yeah.
What are their,
So much to learn.
so much to learn just from the studying the life of great personalities.
You know what I find interesting, Raghu? Is that when you study the lives of great personalities, great souls, great saintly people, great bhakti yogis,
Yes.
it's very often that you find that at some point in their life, they're criticized, they're misunderstood, they're blasphemed, they're people fight against them for no reason. They have
They're
nothing but
crucified, huh?
Sometimes
They're crucified.
Yeah. So people fight against them, people criticize them, people make up rumors about them, people do all this stuff. And the way that I understand it is, if we want to live a life of bhakti, if we want to live a life dedicated to God, we should expect that that's going to happen, right? Because otherwise, there's no test for us to actually enter into that life. That's part of how you, just like if you go into a gang, right? They got some kind of ritual where you get in.
Right.
And this is part of the ritual of becoming dear, especially dear to God, to become especially connected is, okay, well, what happens when people start to criticize you just for trying to do the good thing in life? How are you going to handle that? And then you reflect, because I've been reading all these stories, that when it happens to you, you're not like, this is wrong. Why am I being treated this way? No, you're like, oh, now I'm getting the test. What a great opportunity.
Hey, GEV people, this was our whole morning class today.
You're talking, you just said that.
I just said that. It's like one of those things, and people are going to, I mean, you could be the best person ever. Okay, here's a funny story. When I was I'd say like, the most renounced, the most austere, the most focused, the most sincere part of my life where I had no material possessions. I had nothing. I lived as a monk in the temple, but as monks, we started the band. In the band, I had nothing.
Okay.
At the most, people still spoke ill of me.
Sure.
Oh, yeah, he's just full of crap. He's got a whole game room in the basement. They just make up. You know why?
A game room.
People. Here's an important quote I'd like to just quote. Haters will hate.
Haters gonna hate, I believe.
Haters gonna hate. Haters gonna hate. That is just a quote. And the fact is, there's nothing you can do to make hateful people not hate. You could be Christ. Guess what? They hated Christ.
Yeah.
You could be a great saint, a great swine. They try to kill you. It doesn't matter. But what we can do is we can change how we react to haters.
There you go.
And we were with an example I used this morning was, what do you do with a dog that's nasty? Sometimes you go to a dog pound and say, I want to adopt that dog. Oh, no, you have children. That dog is not good with kids. Or no, you won't let that dog. That's very vicious. How did a dog get vicious? Because they've been beaten, abused, mistreated. Guess how you get them better? Do you beat them? No, you love them. Love is the answer to changing people's hearts. It's so simple and so sort of like, yet I'm so repulsed by it. When I see someone who's acting like a jerk, I want to be a jerk right back. And a sadhu doesn't act like that. A sadhu is above the pettiness of the material world. When they see someone was a jerk, tatikshiva karunika surya sarvadehinam. They're compassionate, they're kind, they're tolerant. They push the compassion button on themselves. And that's where they move forward. They're compassionate, they're tolerant, and they love.
Nice.
That's our job.
Nice.
That's our job. Our job isn't to give idiots their karma. That's not our job.
Right.
Believe that whoever.
Anyone can do that.
Anyone can do that. We're not here to be petty. And when we want to get revenge on the world, we're just as petty as they are. I think we're above it. And the ongoing right versus left, Israel and Palestine, country, nation versus nation, north versus south, it's going to go on forever until we can actually love and appreciate the other side. That'll never happen when I'm digging my heels in. They're
Right.
jerks. They're all wrong. It's a no-win. That's the material world.
You end up coming across with the same energy that you are opposing, right? Same kind of hateful, bitter energy.
I mean, we see it in America right now. It's just, we're just cultivating hate. If what you're doing to improve your life or fairness in this world or equality amongst sexes, genders, species, whatever it is, if you're doing it and it's actually making you hateful, you're doing something tremendously wrong. Because our evolution should bring us to love. And we love people. We hate the sin, but we don't hate the sinner. Because people can change like that. And you know what? We focus in on our shortcomings. Because I have a lot of shortcomings. And it's truthfully focusing on society, national, governmental, whatever it is, dynamics, etc. It's often a smoke screen that I don't have to take a deep look at myself. What do you think of that, Kaustubha?
I love it, Raghu. And again, it's almost like say you watch almost any film, but let's say like a romantic comedy kind of thing, like one of these romances, right?
Yeah.
There's going to be a scene where the one lover they'll be challenged in a way to demonstrate their love, right? And that's kind of the highlight of it. And for the Bhakti-yogi, when you start getting criticized by people, that's your opportunity to show your love, right? To step up, tolerate that. It's a demonstration. It's real. It's not this stuff that anybody can do, put on the right clothes or adopt the right, guru or whatever. No, to be able to tikshiva, Karunika, Suridam Sarvadehinam, I'm tolerant, I'm merciful, I'm friend to every living being, I'm peaceful. Be a real sadhu. That gives us the opportunity to demonstrate to the Lord of our heart that we really want to be like that.
It's like with, we'll just use Raghunath Swami again. It's not like Raghunath Swami is not an animal rights activist. He's done so many things just by his own living, his own diet, his own spreading the message of spirit. He's changing. He's doing so much work in one sense for animal rights.
He's an activist
and protecting cat, and he's got a full-on cow protection farm. That being said, he's not hateful. If he sees a person who's eating meat, I'm sure even if he would see a butcher, he would not be hateful at that person.
Right.
He would show them compassion and love. And the way to change is through compassion and love. It's not through digging your heels and showing a person why they're completely wrong. And this happens all the time when people come, you come on pilgrimage, you get a spiritual taste of something, you do a teacher training and feel so high, and then you go home and you, instead of like being in love and feeling connected, you start finding all the people around you and say, this is why you're not spiritual. You should be more spiritual. And you come at them with an attitude and they don't appreciate you. You come after them, not with that same type of love that's actually in your heart. Better we just learn how to love better. And my biggest problem is my ego always gets wrapped in this stuff. It's a slippery slope when I start finding faults with other people, even in the name of I'm right and it's a good thing.
Then you become the hater.
And I become the hater. That's it.
When you said hater's going to hate, what I thought of? It's an interesting story. But I think Prabhupada told the story about like there's a grandfather and his grandson and they've got like a donkey or like a horse or something like that, right? Like a donkey, I think it was a small horse or something. And they're walking through a village. They walk to the first village and the kid is on the horse and the old man is walking. And everybody criticizes, what is this? The kid is riding on the horse and the old man is doing the walking. This is so wrong. So then they hear this criticism and then they switch and they put the old man on the horse and they got the kid. And then they go to the next town. Everybody's like, why is that grown man riding the horse when they're forcing the child to walk, right? and then they go through this. Then they both get off and they both walk. And then they say, what a couple of fools. They've got a perfectly good horse there and nobody's riding it.
Haters going to hate.
Haters are going to hate.
Yeah. It's just going to happen.
We can't get too wrapped up in it. We got to do what we know is right. We got to focus on what we want to be in this world. We got to be loving like you're saying. And we got to be tolerant like a true sadhu. We got to start getting connected to our offering. What is my offering in this very short life? Come on. Yeah. What is my offering in this very short life? Yeah. What am I here to give in this world? Make a lifetime plan.
Yeah. By the way, Joshua Green is on the show. I see him here.
Oh.
He's with Anuradha. Josh, we have to have him on the show sometime. He's a college professor, incredibly learned. He was in there. He recorded that record with George Harrison.
Amazing.
All right. Incredible bhakti practitioner. Wrote a book about George Harrison. Wrote a book about the Holocaust. Wrote a book about
Srila Prabhupada.
Bhagavad Gita. Spent a lot of time with his guru Prabhupada. Okay. Anuradha, you tell Joshua Green, beg him, say Raghunath and Kaustubha Prabhu really would love to have him on the show as a guest sometime. Okay.
We're almost out of time here.
We got time for one more?
Yeah.
Mara, what's going on there?
Where's the music, Mara?
1 minute, Mara. This time we actually have nothing to say. Anyway. 1 minute. That's nothing.
We're all out. We used it all up for today.
We used it all up. You know what stinks? Anyway. That's it. There you go.
You coming over?
On Apple Podcasts.
Go ahead.
Thank you. And that's our show. We'll be here. We'll be here every day. We're going to make it work. We're in a little same time tomorrow, those who are listening on Zoom. But Apple Podcast people will see you soon. And if you want to see our pretty faces, but you miss them, go to YouTube. Remember, leave a remark. And a 5-star really helps our rankings.
YouTube.
And
subscribe, please, on YouTube if you wish to.
Yeah, subscribe. Hit that bell. Thanks, everybody.
You coming over for some?
Love you. See you tomorrow.
You coming over for pizza?
Here. We made it just in time. We got here in 10 minutes to this hotel right before we started.
You gonna come over for some pizza, Raghu?
Gruntraj Shima Bhagavatam Ki Jai.
Are you coming over for pizza?
I'm coming over for some Italian food. We're going to take a japa walk to the ashram.
So you'll be here in a half hour or so? I'll see you then.
Yeah.